Welcome back to English Lessons with Tyler. Today we will look at 10 common business English phrases used every day in the workforce and in meetings. One very common phrase used in professional settings is get down to business. We use this when it's time to stop chatting and start working seriously.
Now, shall we get down to business?
Anyway, let's get down to business, Michael.
Let's say you're in a meeting and you're waiting for the last person to show up. Once that person is in the room and the meeting is ready to start, the boss or leader can say, everyone is here now, so let's get down to business. Or if time is running short and you want to be as productive as possible, you can say, we only have 30 minutes for this meeting, so let's get down to business. Another commonly used phrase in business communication is ahead of schedule. We use this when someone is finished earlier than planned.
I believe I met your requirements. Ahead of schedule.
We'll show them our progress, ahead of schedule.
Let's say you tell your boss, we finished the report ahead of schedule. The boss can say to you, nice work. Or you can say, the project is ahead of schedule so far. The boss might say to you, that's great news. Another essential phrase for professional English is on the same page. We use this to say everyone understands and agrees on the same thing.
We're not quite on the same page, you and I, right from the start.
Pete, you won't get anywhere with her until you two get on the same page, right?
Let's say a boss says to a group, are we on the same page about this deadline? The group can say, yes, we're good for this Friday. Or a coworker can say, let's make sure we're all on the same page about moving forward. And you can say, that's a good idea. Another standard phrase in the workplace is behind schedule. We use this when someone is taking longer than expected.
You've been here 3 months and already you're behind schedule.
I estimate us to be about 3 hours behind schedule.
Let's say you say to your boss, we're a little bit behind schedule today. The boss can say, let's speed things up. Or you can say to the boss, the delivery is behind schedule. And the boss might say to you, okay, we can adjust. Another essential phrase for professional English is raise the bar. We use this to say we are increasing standards and expectations.
Well, we could look at it as a cooperative venture where we challenge each other, raise the bar.
Maybe they want us to raise the bar.
Let's say you say to a coworker, this new policy really raises the bar. The coworker can say, yes, we need to improve. Or you can say, let's raise the bar for this project. A coworker can say, I'm in. Another very common phrase used in professional settings is take ownership. We use this when someone accepts responsibility for a task or mistake.
The bank needs us to sign papers and take ownership or it goes back to auction.
And he is refusing to take ownership for the severity of his actions.
Let's say a coworker says, he took ownership of the problem. You can say, that was professional. Or a manager can say, you need to take ownership of your role. You can say, I understand. Another one of the most common phrases you'll hear in meetings is step up. We use this when someone takes more responsibility or makes extra effort.
We need to step up our game.
Come on, Todd, step up.
Let's say a boss says, we need someone to step up and lead. You can say, I can do it. Or a coworker can say, she really stepped up during the presentation. You can say, absolutely. Another phrase you will hear all the time in the workplace is touch base. We use this to say we will contact someone briefly to check in or update them.
Figured I'd touch base real quick since we're both here.
All right, Kate, but we'll touch base soon.
Let's say the boss says to you, I'll touch base with you later this afternoon. You can say, sounds good. Or a coworker can say, let's touch base tomorrow about the project. And you can say, perfect. Another phrase you need to know for business English is cut corners. We use this when someone does something cheaply or poorly to save time or money.
If the deadline was tight and I had to cut corners, I had no paperwork at all.
But you should know, Mr. Cray has cut corners and ignored sound science to get where he is.
Let's say you say to your boss, we can't cut corners on quality. The boss can say to you, I agree. Or you can say, they cut corners and it caused problems later. The boss can say, that makes sense. Another phrase you will hear all the time at work is in the loop. We use this to say someone is informed and included in the communication.
We really appreciate you keeping us in the loop.
Yeah. Keep us in the loop if you hear anything else.
Let's say a coworker says, can you keep me in the loop about any updates? You can say, yes, of course. Or a coworker can say, she wasn't in the loop about the change. And you can say, that explains the confusion. That's all we have for today. Great work. I encourage you to start using some of these phrases at work and in professional settings. Keep going, keep working hard, and see you in the next lesson.